ESPN has been doing a poll where executives, coaches, and scouts rank the top 10 in the league at each position. Today, tight end day. So let's take a look at their ranking of the top tight ends. Rookie last year, Brock Bowers takes over the top spot. Kittle, Laporta, McBride, Kelsey down to 5. Andrews, talked about him. Hawkinson, likely. So 2 of the Ravens in the top 8. And then David Njoku checks in at 10. NFL personnel evaluator about her. He's figured it out. Before he was just an athlete with physical tools, but he's involved into a pro tight end who had more nuance to his game as a route runner, more coverage awareness. And again, who was he really effective with 2 years ago as a quarterback? Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco knows how to use a tight end.
Yeah, I want to see Njoku get back to being what he was, not the last year, but the year before. Year prior with Flacco, he really looked good. I felt like they never really had a plan for him in last year's offense. Well, for that matter, I don't know what the plan was offensively anyway. A lot of people struggled in the offense last year. And going back to more of what David Njoku likes, he's always seemed to be a guy that is probably right up there with some of the most elite tight ends as far as talent goes. It just happens to be the consistency. Sometimes he has some drops where it's like, man, he makes a spectacular catch, but then he has some drops where he's wide open. You're like, man, you got to catch that. Putting the ball on the turf, he's turned himself into a really good blocker. I just want to see the more explosiveness. I think he played a little heavy last year. Obviously, he's had some injuries. He's going back towards last year. I mean, he was almost in a fire. Like, he burned himself extremely bad, and he still played. Tough guy. I think that he's slotted right where he's supposed to be, right there at 10. I would put him right there. I just think it's going to take a specific type of offense to unlock him and to do the things that they want to do. And I think he's done a pretty good job of putting himself in those positions. I think it'll be a much better this year, getting back to what he's more comfortable with being a run block, and pass option, kind of 50-50. And I think Harold Fanning Jr. is going to really help him out as well, because now you can't just load up on David Njoku, right? Usually it's like, okay, if you got one tight end in the game, the other one's not going to get the ball. I think you're going to see a lot more of that with the Browns. And I think he's slotted correctly. I think he's going to be a guy that's up for an extension. And I think the Browns probably will sign him to a 2 to 3 year deal, taking him past 30. I think he's 28 or 29 right now. But I think he's a big part of what they want to do.